You ever get that feeling, that little unsettling sense about your digital world?
Yeah, like things are shifting under your feet.
Exactly. Well, today, we're diving deep into that feeling because cybersecurity isn't just evolving anymore. It feels like it's going through a massive upheaval. We're talking about these silent battles happening constantly every second.
Right.
And to try and make sense of it all, maybe give you a shortcut to being really informed, we've pulled together some really great sources. There's a fantastic article on 6 hot cybersecurity trends from CSO Online,
No.
a deep dive into how many cyber attacks occur each day from a 2025 report, and some crucial insights on endpoint recovery and OS rebuild automation from Swimmage.
And our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. We're not just, reading headlines. We want to cut through the noise.
Yeah.
We want to really boil down the most important changes happening right now and help you understand not just what's changing, but crucially, why it matters. Whether you're just trying to keep your own stuff safe or you're part of an organization trying to defend everything.
And this isn't about scaring people.
No, not at all. It's about informed awareness, strategic thinking, because honestly, the current landscape kind of demands it.
And believe me, you are going to want to stick around. We've got some stats that are just, well, mind-boggling. We'll get into the double-edged sword of AI and this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe most surprisingly, why picking up your phone might actually be riskier than opening a dodgy email these days.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it's true.
So let's get into it. And I think to understand that phone call risk, we first need to grasp the sheer scale of what we're dealing with.
The context is key.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Just how widespread are cyber attacks right now? The
Yeah.
numbers are, well, they're staggering. Microsoft estimates something like 600 million cyber attacks happen every single day.
600 million.
Let that sink in for a second. And then if you look specifically at attacks leading to data compromises, the Identity Theft Resource Center tracked 3,205 of those in 2024. Just for comparison, back in 2018, that number was 754.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It really paints a picture, doesn't it? Just this relentless, escalating threat.
It absolutely does. And to put that 600 million figure in perspective, that breaks down to nearly 54 people falling victim to some kind of cyber attack every second.
Every second.
Now, okay, the definition of an attack can vary a bit depending on who you ask, but the sheer volume, the impact, it's undeniable. And for businesses, well, the reality is pretty stark. Almost 6 out of 10 businesses got hit by ransomware in the last year alone.
6 out of 10.
Yeah. And we're seeing these big regional jumps, too, like ransomware attacks were up 8% in North America in 2024, but get this, in Latin America, up 259%.
Whoa.
So it's not just about losing data anymore. It's about business continuity, its reputation. Sometimes it's just survival.
And the money involved, it's just immense. The average ransomware payment itself, just the payment, is now around $850,700.
Just the ransom.
Right. But that's not the whole story, is it? When you add in the downtime, the recovery effort, lost productivity, all that stuff, the total loss averages about $4.91 million per incident.
Nearly $5 million.
Yeah. And even if they just manage to compromise, say, an IoT device like your smart thermostat or a security camera, the average cost from that kind of attack is still over $330,000.
It's definitely not just a minor nuisance. It's a massive, potentially crippling financial problem.
So we see the scale, it's enormous. But the future, both attacking and defending, seems to really hinge on AI, doesn't it?
Increasingly, yes.
We hear so much about generative AI, ChatGPT and the like. There was all that hype, but now maybe this trough of disillusionment for businesses. How does that fit into the cybersecurity picture?
That's a really good point because there is a disconnect. Businesses are pouring money into generative AI. The average spend was like $1.9 million last year.
Yeah.
But fewer than 30% of the AI leaders in those companies are actually happy with the results, the ROI. So, yeah, that disillusionment you mentioned, it's definitely real for a lot of organizations. However,
There's always a however.
right. For cybersecurity, AI's role isn't shrinking. It's actually getting more critical. But maybe in a different way than people first thought. We're seeing the rise of something called agentic AI.
Agentic AI. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds a bit sci-fi. What are we talking about here? What makes it different?
It does sound futuristic. It's been called things like a Cambrian explosion in computing, a new human hybrid computing paradigm. The key thing is, these aren't just static algorithms running code.
Okay.
Agentic AI systems are designed to make decisions autonomously. They can collaborate with other systems, they can learn, they can evolve over time, all without constant human hand-holding. Gartner actually predicts that by 2028, something like 15% of day-to-day work decisions will be made autonomously by these AI agents.
15%, up from basically zero now.
Exactly, up from 0% in 2024. And they also think over a third of enterprise software will incorporate it by then.
Well, that's huge. It sounds almost like a digital immune system that learns on the fly. Are we actually seeing this stuff deployed yet in cybersecurity?
Oh yeah, we're seeing real examples already. Companies like Palo Alto Networks, they have their Cortex Agenti X. Cisco's working on something called Agenti Ops.
And what do they do?
The use cases are pretty transformative. Think real-time threat detection that actually adapts as the threats change. Autonomous threat hunting, automated case management. Sentinel-1 has something called Purple AI, and they claim it helps security teams resolve threats 55% faster because it can automatically triage alerts and even write up reports itself.
Okay, 55% faster is significant.
It is. It's about shifting from just reacting to threats to actually having a proactive, intelligent defense that's always learning.
That sounds incredibly powerful on the defense side. But if these agents are making decisions on their own, what happens if they make a bad call? Or, maybe worse, what if attackers target the AI itself?
And that is the million-dollar question, or maybe the multi-million-dollar vulnerability. Because while agentic AI has amazing potential, it absolutely introduces brand new ways for attackers to get in.
Right.
IDC put out a warning saying a lot of organizations are rushing generative AI projects into production without doing thorough risk assessments first.
That sounds unwise.
It creates potentially huge vulnerabilities in the very systems that are supposed to be protecting us. It's like building this super advanced fortress, but maybe, just maybe, the foundation isn't quite solid yet.
And it's not just the big core AI systems we need to worry about, right? There's this whole issue of shadow AI.
Ah, yes, shadow AI.
This is where employees are just using public tools, maybe ChatGPT, maybe Claude, whatever, and potentially feeding sensitive company data into them, often without any approval. I saw a stat that something like 38% of employees do this.
That's right, and it's a huge headache for security and privacy teams.
Yeah.
Because you lose control over where your data is going.
So what are the specific threats against the AI infrastructure itself?
They're quite varied, and they're evolving fast. You've got things like data poisoning, feeding bad data into a model to mess up its outputs.
Okay.
There's model theft, literally stealing the proprietary AI model itself. Malicious prompts, where you trick the AI into giving up sensitive info or doing something it shouldn't. And then you have broader risks in the AI supply chain, the tools and libraries used to build the AI.
So how do you defend against all that?
It really comes back to applying zero trust principles, but to the AI itself. You can't inherently trust any input or output. You have to constantly verify everything.
Treat the AI like any other potentially untrusted user or device?
Pretty much, yeah. You need clear, acceptable use policies for AI tools. You need data loss prevention, DLP, tools to spot sensitive data going where it shouldn't, and definitely robust DevSecOps building security in from the very start of AI development. It's got to be a multi-layered defense.
Okay, so AI is this huge new frontier, both for attack and defense. But sometimes it's the older vulnerabilities, the human ones, that still get us right.
Absolutely. The human element is often the weakest link.
Which brings us to something that preys directly on, well, us. Our sense of urgency, our trust, phishing, voice phishing.
Phone calls.
Yeah. We've all gotten, I think, pretty decent at spotting a sketchy email, haven't we? You can hover over the link, take a second, think about it.
Right, there's a pause built in.
But a phone call, someone demanding a quick decision, sounding urgent, maybe claiming they're from IT or your bank, that's a whole different level of pressure. And the scary stat here, phishing attacks apparently jumped 442% just from the first half to the second half of 2024.
442%. That really shows how effective it is, how attackers are exploiting that human trust, that immediacy. IBM's X-Force team, their security testers, they found this incredibly potent.
Oh, yeah.
Get this. They have been successful every single time they've tried to impersonate an employee to reset a password by calling a client's help desk.
Every single time.
Every time. And it's not just hitting smaller places. Big names have been victims. Cisco had a data breach back in July traced back to phishing. Even Google has been targeted.
Wow.
And now you layer on AI-powered voice cloning, the rise of deepfakes. It's only going to get harder to tell if that urgent call is real or not. That simple phone call becomes a really powerful weapon.
So if a phone call, something so basic, can be that dangerous, It really changes how we have to think about defense, doesn't it?
Completely.
And this ties right into that bigger strategic shift we mentioned earlier. Identity is the new firewall.
Exactly. The old idea of a secure perimeter, building walls around your network,
Yeah.
that's largely gone, replaced by zero trust thinking.
And zero trust, when you boil it down, it's all
Yes.
about identity, right? Verifying who is accessing what constantly. Like that expert quote, attackers don't need to break in, they just log in.
That quote sums it up perfectly. If they can compromise your identity, your credentials, they don't need sophisticated hacking tools. They can just walk right in the front door,
Yeah.
digitally speaking.
But managing identity must be incredibly complex for
Oh,
organizations.
it is. Because identity touches everything. HR systems, cloud platforms, old legacy applications, different access methods. It's all tangled together.
So what are companies doing?
Well, the big push now is towards consolidated, integrated identity management platforms,
Hmm.
something that can give them visibility and control across that whole messy landscape. It's about verifying everything and everyone all the time, because that login prompt is the new battleground.
It's not just the threats evolving. The whole cybersecurity industry seems to be in constant motion, too. We're seeing a ton of mergers and acquisitions, M&A
It
activity,
booming.
projected to increase another 10% in 2025. And it's not just small players getting snapped up. There seems to be a real trend towards bigger deals, deals over $250 million. Why should, say, the average IT manager or even just someone interested in tech care about these big corporate deals?
That's a fair question. Because these huge deals, they send ripples through the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
We saw some massive ones in 2025. Palo Alto Networks buying CyberArk for $25 billion. Alphabet, Google's parent, buying Wiz for $32 billion. HPE grabbing Juniper Networks for $14 billion.
Those are staggering numbers.
They are. And it signals this intense race to consolidate all the different security tools out there. Companies want fewer vendors, more integrated platforms.
So simplification is the goal.
That seems to be the bet, but it creates uncertainty too. The security tools you rely on today might suddenly belong to a different company tomorrow. They might get integrated into something else, maybe features change, maybe support changes. It forces everyone to constantly reevaluate their security stack.
And what about the people, the workforce? We keep hearing about this massive cybersecurity skills gap, this catastrophic shortage. Is that still the main story?
It's more nuanced now. Yes, there's still huge demand, but the focus is shifting. It's less about just needing sheer numbers of people and more about needing very specific skills.
Ah, okay.
In fact, technical capability, what you can actually do, has apparently overtaken years of work experience as the #1 thing organizations are looking for.
Interesting. So specialization is key.
Exactly. The word on the street is generalization is out, specialization is in. We're seeing this reflected in job posting growth.
Like what kind of roles?
Some of the really hot jobs right now, based on posting increases, are things like cybersecurity or privacy attorneys up 41%,
Legal side.
red teamers, the ethical hackers, up 29%, cyber threat intelligence analysts up 14%, incident responders, the people who jump in when things go wrong, up 12%, and GRC analysts, that's governance, risk, and compliance, also up 12%.
So it's really pointing towards needing deep expertise in specific areas.
Precisely. It shows the growing complexity and the need for dedicated specialists within security teams.
But overall demand is still strong.
Oh, absolutely. Even core roles like information security analyst are projected to grow by 33% through 2033. That's expected to create over 17,000 openings each year in the U.S. alone. The median wage is around $124,910, and the whole market size is forecast to hit nearly $272 billion by 2029. So huge growth, huge opportunity, but definitely with a sharper focus on those specialized skills.
And these trends, these threats, they aren't just theoretical, are they? They hit hard in the real world, impacting millions of people.
Let's maybe quickly recall a few recent examples from just the last year or so.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are plenty.
Back in February 2024, there was Change Healthcare, hit by ransomware, reportedly by the Black Cat Group or Alpha E. They ended up paying a $22 million ransom.
Ouch.
And it caused massive disruption. People couldn't get prescriptions filled. It even affected U.S. military service members. Then, March 2024, AT&T, huge data dump on the dark web.
I remember that one.
Yeah, social security numbers, other personal info,
Yeah.
impacting 7.6 million current customers and, get this, over 65 million former customers. 65 million. The long tail of data breaches is incredible.
And it kept going. May 2024, Ascension, another big healthcare provider, an employee accidentally downloaded malware.
The simple mistake.
Exactly. forced them to divert emergency care in some places, and data was stolen. Then, just this past April 2025, major UK retailers, M&S, Harrods, Co-op, got hit by a group called Scattered Spider. Payment info was accessed, though thankfully the really sensitive core details were masked. But they had to shut down systems to stop ransomware from spreading.
And these are just the recent headliners. We could go back further. Yahoo losing 3 billion accounts in 2013.
3 billion.
Marriott losing data on 339 million guests in 2018. Even the Pentagon's email system got taken offline by phishing back in 2015. The threat evolves, but the impact remains devastating.
So the threats are constant, they're sophisticated, they hit hard. It really brings us to the crucial question. What does effective defense look like in this environment, especially recovery? How do you bounce back when you inevitably get hit, but do it fast enough that it doesn't cripple you?
That's where the thinking has really shifted, I think. The old ways of recovery, restoring from backups over days, that's just too slow against modern ransomware.
Well, what's the alternative?
The critical insight now is that you need immediate automated system rebuilding. Wipe and replace. Solutions like Swimmage, which you mentioned earlier, they really exemplify this approach.
How does that work?
Their whole model is built around speed and automation. They can take a crashed or infected PC and completely rebuild it. Fresh OS, applications, everything in under 15 minutes, even if the machine is offline.
Under 15 minutes.
Yeah. The idea is to essentially vaporize any malware or ransomware instantly before it can spread or do major damage. It also automates compliance checks, enforces security settings during the rebuild, handles provisioning new systems without needing IT hands-on.
Supports remote workers too, right? No shipping laptops back and forth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huge for remote workforces. And crucially, during that rapid rebuild, it securely backs up and then restores the user's data, their profile, their settings. They claim zero data loss in the process. And it's all built on a zero-trust architecture, aligned with standards like SOC2 Hyper FIPS.
Wow. So in a world with 600 million attacks a day and recovery costs hitting millions, cutting down time by, say, over 80% and getting rid of those expensive desk-side support visits, that's not just nice to have, that sounds essential.
It's moving towards being table stakes for resilience, I think. Getting back online before the attackers can really capitalize on the breach.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today, from just the sheer unbelievable scale of daily attacks
Those boggling numbers.
to the complexities of AI, both as a tool and a target. That jump in vishing, the human element, and these huge strategic shifts in the industry itself, M&A, the focus on skills, it's just clear the digital world is more dynamic, definitely more challenging than it's ever been.
It really is. And stepping back, while these numbers, these threats, they can feel overwhelming.
They definitely can.
Understanding these trends is actually empowering for individuals, for organizations. It lets you build better, more resilient strategies. Seeing the focus shift to specialized skills, the move to identity for security, the rise of these rapid automated recovery tools, it all points towards a future where hopefully defense can be just as agile and sophisticated as the offense. There's always more to learn, right? The landscape keeps changing, which means there's always an opportunity to get ahead.
So maybe the final thought for you listening right now, in this world where attackers might just log in using stolen credentials, where even a call from your help desk could be a trap, perhaps the single most powerful cybersecurity tool you have isn't software, it's not a framework, it's an informed critical mindset.
I think that's exactly right. I just encourage everyone listening to think really carefully, not just about what data you're trying to protect, but how you verify identity, yours and others, in every single digital interaction. And maybe ask yourself, who do you actually trust online and on the phone? Because sometimes the biggest threats wear the most familiar masks. A little healthy skepticism might be your very best defense.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. Stay informed and stay safe out there.